It's a world story with far-reaching consequences. The Russian government's ordered invasion of Ukraine. CCX News is focusing on the local impact, which has a sizable population of both Russian and Ukrainian immigrants living in cities like Plymouth and Maple Grove. Historians say it's Moscow's most aggressive action since the 1979 Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Locally, Congressman Dean Phillips released a statement on the crisis. The 3rd District Congressman said, "You're either for democracy or for authoritarianism, here and abroad. Shame on anyone who puts politics above principle right now." He goes on to say, "Let's be America. America leads. We do not resign. We do not ignore. Democracies, no matter how nascent or mature, must protect one another as a matter of principle." Phillips is a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Now to other news locally. Brooklyn Park police are investigating a townhome shooting that injured one man and involved a dangerous arrest of a suspect. Police were initially called to a report of 5 townhomes that had been shot into. This occurred around 8:30 Thursday morning in the 6600 block of 83rd Court North. Officers determined the gunfire had come from inside one townhome. Police located a man who had been shot. He was then rushed to a local hospital. According to police, a suspect tried to escape, driving his vehicle through a garage door. Officers pursued to stop that vehicle. At one point, the driver rammed into squad cars before police were able to stop him. SWAT and crisis negotiators were called in as police say the suspect refused to cooperate and had barricaded himself inside his vehicle. The man, who is 43 years old, eventually surrendered without further incident. Meanwhile, the man who was shot is expected to survive.
We've been very successful in our clearance rate related to the homicides, but in relation to the 65 other people that have been shot in the last 24 months, we've gotten very little cooperation. Honestly, I think our clearance rate is like at about 39%. We're well over 50 to 55%. So people telling us what they saw, who was involved, and why they believe they did it, it doesn't exist.
That was Brooklyn Park Police Chief Craig Enveldson talking about the lack of cooperation related to shootings in the city. Governor Walz launched a statewide tour this week to hear from city officials about how the state can help support public safety needs and reduce violent crime. As Delane Cleveland reports, the governor's first stop was in Brooklyn Park, where the gun violence is unlike anything the police chief has seen in more than 30 years.
We're just incredibly grateful to be here.
Wednesday afternoon in Brooklyn Park, Governor Walz convened a roundtable discussion to learn more about crime in the city. Those in attendance didn't hold back.
Something needs to be done. The streets are flooded with guns.
Crime in Brooklyn Park, according to Police Chief Craig Enveldson, is technically the lowest it's ever been in the city. But when it comes to violent crime, the stats are way up.
I've spoke with all 3 of you over the last 12 to 18 months about the problems that we're experiencing here in Brooklyn Park. And quite honestly, not a whole heck of a lot has changed, and I'm scared to death of what 2022 is going to bring us.
It's a sobering reality for the police department at a time when they're not getting much cooperation from the public to help them solve violent crimes.
I had no answer for the mayor or the community on why we had 250 people shot over the last 2 years, and our clearance rate is down here. And our clearance rate is down here because witnesses will not talk to us, yes. Victims will not talk to us, and that's because the police are not legitimate. And that narrative continues today, and it's problematic.
This is just one of many conversations the governor plans to have with local cities as he highlights a proposed $300 million funding package aimed at improving public safety. Brooklyn Park would receive close to $1.5 million each year under this new plan to help pay for things like police recruitment, forensic science, and investment in community groups like Minnesota Acts Now, a nonprofit civilian group that helps patrol crime hotspots in the city. The chief admits the money would help, but what he really wants to see is a change in the narrative that all police are bad.
What I'm asking, and what I've spoke with you guys about a little bit too, is it's not money. It's simply your voice in support of law enforcement attempting to stop the lawlessness.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Meanwhile, Golden Valley's interim police chief called 2021 a challenging year with significant staffing turnover. That acknowledgement came during a state of policing report to the city council. Interim Chief Scott Nadeau said the city saw a 45% turnover of its workforce in just a 2-month span last year. There were a total of 19 retirements and resignations last year. A department organizational chart shows 38 on staff. That includes 12 new hires made last year. Despite staffing challenges, Nadeau said he was, quote, very fortunate in the quality of staff brought on board. He also says Golden Valley didn't see as significant a rise in crime as neighboring cities did. Robbinsdale City Council member Tyler Klein has pleaded not guilty to charges of fleeing police and driving drunk. He is scheduled for a jury trial in June. This is video obtained by CCX News from MnDOT of Klein's minivan driving the wrong way on Highway 100 in the early morning hours of January 24th. The video shows police trying to stop the vehicle. Instead, he goes around the squad car. Police attempted to stop Klein more than once before officers rammed into his vehicle and forcibly removed him from the driver's seat. Klein faces 2 gross misdemeanors and 1 felony charge. If convicted of a felony, he would be removed from the city council. Meanwhile, former Mayor Regan Murphy has confirmed that he's working on a petition to remove Klein from office and that if there is a special election, he will run to represent Ward 1. This week, there was a new face on the Brooklyn Park City Council. XP Lee took the oath of office before Tuesday night's meeting to represent the East District. He won the special election on February 8th to fill the seat that Lisa Jacobson vacated when she became mayor. Lee's term will run through the end of 2024. Lee said one of the top concerns he heard from people as he ran for office was public safety.